Houston, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Houston?
Houston, we had a problem.
We think the problem is fixed, Houston. Can you just message in the chat on YouTube Live? Can you hear us? Hey, folks, loud and clear. That is fantastic. We are above the Earth's atmosphere right now. If you look out your window, you might be able to see us as a speck of light up in the sky. We are recording from the eCourse Frontier Starship satellite location, and we're very excited about today. We've got a very special treat for all of you who are obviously here because you want to create binge-worthy courses within your Mighty Networks. Now, down on planet Earth, there is a large epidemic, a student epidemic, where people sign up for courses and communities and 97% of them never complete them. So my name is Captain Bradley T. Morris, and this is...
I'm Blair Francis, the chief officer of this starship.
And we have a special treat for all of you. So before we begin the tour of the starship here and we blast to the new world of online education, we just want to lay the foundation for all of you that online education is not what it used to be. We used to be able to get away with a PowerPoint, a talking head video, and maybe a nice PDF. And this day and age, that's just not how humans consume media. If you just ask yourself, how are you consuming media in your life? There's a very good chance that it may fall into the categories of entertaining videos, music, podcasts, audio books, maybe video games, and social media. Totally. Those are the main ways. And online education, courses for that matter, we're stuck in the past. Like, we're stuck in this pattern that began in the 1990s and hasn't really evolved much since then. And there are so many more tools that are available this day and age that can support your students to actually stay engaged long enough. Because if they're not engaged, there's a chance that they're going to flip off to Facebook or go back to YouTube and not complete your course.
Yeah, the truth is, for under $1,000, we can equip ourselves with the tools that Hollywood had back in the 90s.
True story.
Right?
Let's do that.
It's so easy to up the ante now. And as conscious creators and entrepreneurs, we need to actually take that step forward to compete with all the entertaining things that are on our clients and our students' laptops here in front of them that's so easy for them to be distracted by.
True story. So for today, we're going to go over the philosophies that are required for crafting a binge-worthy course. And the three main pillars that we really look at eCourse Adventures with all of the courses we create and what we coach our students to create fall under the three categories. Number one being curriculum. So obviously, if you're teaching a subject, you have to have a solid curriculum that takes people from not knowing how to do something to being able to do it, or from having a certain pain point to finding a solution for that. So the curriculum is obviously the key, and that's where most courses stop. Is you've got the curriculum, you deliver a bunch of information, and that's just not enough to keep people engaged long enough to get the results they signed up for. So that takes us to our second pillar that we teach, and that's around experience. Now, we're going to show you a lot today around how to craft a student learning experience that actually engages the whole brain. So that's number two, is experience. And the third pillar, and this is why we love Mighty Networks so much, is around community. Is that for somebody to get results, they need to have a community of peers surrounding them, as well as access to the teacher. When you go to university or college, you're there, you're in a physical classroom, you have accountability. There's other people there that you can make friends with, that you can learn with, that you can study with. And so community is a really essential part. And so Mighty Networks has done a brilliant job of creating a space where we can build courses, we can have community, and what our specialty is at eCourse Adventures is crafting experiences that people want to stick around for. So, without further ado, we need to make sure that you're all ready. So, T and workbook. Did you download your workbook? Audra sent out a link to the workbook, and in a moment we'll post that link in the chat again in case you did not download it. That workbook is essential, and it's going to help you essentially map out your course. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you all ready? I'm ready. I was ready like 15 minutes ago. So here we go. Let's head on over to the loading bay and we'll begin this tour. Welcome aboard the eCourse Frontier Starship. This is going to be our training platform for the next 30 minutes to demonstrate to you a revolutionary new approach to online education. My crew and I, who you'll be meeting shortly, have been working for the better part of the last 10 years in the eCourse industry, and we couldn't help but notice a widespread epidemic taking place right now. The average dropout rate for online courses is higher than 70%. This means something is clearly amiss in the way students are being taught. And the reason this is such a big problem is because if people aren't finishing your course, then you're not going to get testimonials, you won't get referrals, and you won't get future business. Not to mention, your students won't get the results they signed up for. Clearly, the way e-courses are being designed right now isn't working. So we asked ourselves, how can we improve the educational model or blueprint that is often being used to build online courses? This got us thinking about e-course creation and education as a whole in an entirely new way, which brings us to our Starship. It caught your attention, right? Well, good. I'm glad you like it, because I've been waiting my entire life to have my very own Starship. And this Starship is a vehicle to help you fulfill your mission and purpose of making a huge impact in the world. And we'll get to that. But one of the main reasons the failure rate is so high is because there are other things more exciting and fun than the vast majority of courses out there. The key is to make your course more enjoyable and inspiring than the endless distractions stealing your students' attention away. Now you have to understand, the way things are being done isn't all wrong. In fact, we like to think that it's halfway there. Are you familiar with left and right brain dynamics? The left brain represents the analytical, linear side. The side loves heady step-by-step process. It wants facts and information. But then we have the right side of the brain, often overlooked in the world of online learning. The right brain represents the creative, imaginative, artistic self. I bring this analogy up to help demonstrate the entire educational industry is completely disregarding the right brain altogether. Don't get me wrong, the left brain is really valuable, but too much of it will cause your student to seek elsewhere for some good old-fashioned entertainment and stimulation. So, if you want to stand out in the sea of sameness and inspire your audience to complete your course, then you're going to have to be more creative with your approach and delivery. And this brings us to our mission today, to introduce to you a revolutionary new approach to online learning. Now imagine this. You've developed an e-learning experience that your students love showing up to, excited to devour their next lessons. You've created A course that feeds your heart, mind, and soul in a way that your work has never been able to do in the past. And you've built a transformational learning environment that will change your students' lives and effortlessly make you sales because you're genuinely fired up about the product you created. When we get off this ship today, you're going to know exactly what you need to do to fulfill your mission of facilitating an e-learning experience that hooks your students and keeps them engaged until they achieve the results they came for. Now, there's so much to fill you in on to prepare you for the exciting journey ahead. But first, be sure to download your training manual. If you haven't yet, then go ahead and download it now. This manual is full of exercises and resources that'll take you deeper into everything we're sharing today. Read through it and do all the exercises in your own time. Now let's go take a tour of the eCourse frontier. I want to introduce you to the crew and get you ready for the new paradigm of online education. Follow me to the transportation pods, right this way. Now, let's just see if this works. Oh, perfect. All right. So since the beginning of time, we've shared our cultural ways, techniques, and wisdom through storytelling, song, and art. That approach creates whole brain learning experiences. Somehow, along the evolution of humanity, the creative side of learning was lost, and now all we see are left brain dominant learning processes. Whereas the most effective learning happens on the deepest level when the whole brain is engaged. But the education industry has forgotten this, and I'm guessing you're not traveling through outer space right now to go make a painfully boring course just like all the others out there. Am I right? Now that would be a waste of your time and your students' time and their money and all of your potential. You are here to create a deeply transformational whole brain learning experience. Period. So how exactly do you do that? Well, there's two main parts to consider. We're already fully aware of the left brain aspect of eCourse creation, which is the linear learning pathway, your lessons, modules, quizzes, and information. The other side is the right brain aspect of course creation. To engage this side of the brain, you have to give your course a theme. So what does the theme look like? Take a look around. You're not just listening to me read a PowerPoint word for word, you're part of a bigger story, an immersive learning environment. You are a new recruit on a starship traveling through space on an adventure to the new world of online learning. Now that's a theme. Understand, your theme doesn't have to be as elaborate as this one. This is just our personalities, passions, and creativity shining through. And that's what it's all about. So here's a few examples of course themes that our students are working on. One supermom is making an entrepreneurship course for teenagers that has a spy theme. An artist has developed a course that merges drawing with travel so you can learn to draw your favorite travel memories. A passionate graphics designer developed a course that takes place in the dojo where you earn your black belt in Photoshop. A couple musicians made a music production training that's based in the ancient art of alchemy. And then there's our course, an epic adventure to the peak of a mountain where you learn how to create and launch an epic e-learning experience. As you can probably start to imagine, by giving your course a theme, you bring it to life. A theme satisfies the right brain's need for symbology, metaphor, and meaning. And the possibilities are as endless as the universe itself. Now you might be thinking, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a teacher, I'm not an artist. But what is an artist after all? What is art? The creative process is a simple process of making connections. So the process is this. Take your course topic and lesson. Make the creative connections, a new thing emerges. What emerges is your masterpiece, your art, your course. So what does eCourse creation have to do with climbing a mountain? When we asked ourselves that for the Great eCourse Adventure, we were super excited to find that our syllabus became a map. Modules became checkpoints, badges became supplies, wild characters taught the lessons, our community became the campfire, and launching your course became reaching the peak of Launch Summit. Our theme brought so much fun and imagination into the experience of learning and building your own online business. The most important thing is that your theme is consistent through every aspect of your student's experience. All these things add up, and the more you infuse your theme into the course and lessons, the more immersed your students will become in the learning environment. There is so much more we can get into on the topic of themes, which we don't have time for today, but we will tell you how you can learn more later. The bottom line is this: creating whole brain learning experiences means more engagement, more students, more success, more money, and more impact. So do it. All right. So what other ways can you use art to deliver powerful lessons? Well, take a look at your options. You can use video production, storytelling, music, photography, poetry, costume design, graphic design, animation, and so much more. Basically, if there's an art form, it can be used to teach a lesson in a way that's far more engaging than a typical PowerPoint and Talking Heads video. And if there's something you're passionate about, that's what you should be incorporating. Once you get it in the creative process, you won't be able to stop the endless flow of inspiration and ideas that start flooding in. And the more you enjoy your creative process, the more likely your students will love your course and want to stick around. All right, so it looks like we're coming up to Dr. Delight's lab, so we'll end here for now. In your training manual are more creative exercises to help you narrow in on your eCourse topic and theme. So be sure to do those when you're done with the tour while the inspiration's still fresh. In summation, what we just talked about: come up with your topic, come up with your theme, find the connections between the two, treat this as an art form, and enjoy every step of the process. And if you don't do this, then be prepared to make something that gets lost amidst the sea of sameness. All right. Let's go meet Dr. Delight. He's going to teach you an essential part of eCourse creation in the new paradigm. Man, we got to get a smaller ship. Right, so this is Dr. Delight's lab. Now, he's a little bit of an eccentric character, but don't let that fool you because he's an absolute genius. Dr. Delight?
Oh, hello!
Oh, hey! So good to see you. I just want to introduce you to the new recruits.
Wonderful, wonderful. Come on in. Come meet me at the screen. Hello again. Well, aren't you a good-looking bunch? You are very lucky to be here. The old world of eCourse creation was missing the most important ingredient for facilitating transformation: engagement. Without engagement, you don't have an eCourse. Courses of the old world were so dry and boring. Nobody wanted to do the lessons. They were just PowerPoints and PDFs. That's all they were. The old way is no way to learn. This is not how you help one to transform. Like a child, you must help them to enjoy the learning journey. So how do we inspire engagement amongst our students? Well, one very good way is this thing we call gamification. Boop, boop. The gamification of learning is an educational approach to motivate students to learn by using video game design and game elements in learning environments. The goal is to maximize enjoyment and engagement through capturing the interest of learners and inspiring them to continue learning. Wikipedia! And whether you realize it or not, by working in the e-learning industry, you are by default working in gamification. Gamification happens anytime a student goes beyond merely consuming information to actually taking some form of action. It may not seem like it, but that is indeed gamification. And in order to facilitate transformation, your students must take action in their real lives. Beep beep. What is wrong? One more time. Boop, boop. There we go. Traditional forms of gamification and e-learning can include having a point system, community currency, badges, rewards, contests, challenges, and there's so much more. The goal is to get your students to participate and take their next step on their transformational learning journey. So tell me in the poll below, do you think gamification will enhance your students' learning experience? Yes or no? Gamification is exciting because it promises to make the hard stuff along the journey fun, or at least more enjoyable. It is designed to take your students from passivity to interactivity by encouraging and rewarding them to play further into your world and their learning transformation. Now, take a moment to consider. Boop, boop. What could you do to employ gamification in your eCourse for your students? To give you an example, in the Great eCourse Adventure, we apply several forms of gamification and our students absolutely love it. We created our own community currency called the Bajillion, where everybody is a bajillionaire. Students earn bajillions and badges through completing challenges, lessons, and by participating in forum conversations. They can then spend their bajillions on an eCourse creation product, services, and software in our mountain shop. Boop, boop. Show up, do the work, participate fully, and be rewarded. It's a win for everyone! Bloop, bloop. So, there are a few simple rules to follow for creating a great gamified experience. Boop, boop. Rule number 1. You must turn your lessons and courses into a game-like experience. Because games are enjoyable and people like yourself prefer enjoyable experiences over ones that are not so much enjoyable, you need your students to want to do the work and come back for the next lesson. Even better, you'll want your students to be thinking about your course when they are doing other things. Boop, boop. Rule number 2. Understand the mechanics of your game-like experience. The game mechanics are basically what makes a game fun and engaging. It is this thing that makes people keep playing it. For example, they do a quiz before they are allowed to move forward. These mechanics are what make your course game-like. Mechanics, yes or no? Boop, boop. Rule number 3. More important than coming up with badges is to come up with challenges and experiences that engage your students and inspire them into action. Use your imagination and get creative. Not all courses will become a circus of games, although some might. It really depends on you, your audience, and your eCourse's personality. If you don't think it's fun, your audience probably won't either. Boop, boop. No matter what your topic is, gamification can and will improve your engagement rate. So why not use it? In your training manual are more ideas on how to gamify your eCourse, as well as recommend software to use. That's enough for today. I have much work to do before we land, so you best move along and get your work done. Oh, wait. One more question I've been dying to ask you. Fuzzy socks or slippers? Answer below in the poll. Please answer. My old one's worn out and I've heard that fuzzy socks are more functional. Apparently you can just slip them right in the shoe.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Delight. So this has been super informative, as it always is, but we've got to continue our tour, and I'm going to take everybody up to the cockpit and introduce them to the pilot of our ship. Boop, boop. All right, right this way, everybody. Come with me. Never a dull moment with that guy. So let's just take a moment to summarize his main points. Number 1, turn your lessons and course into a game-like experience. 2, make sure the game mechanics, aka how the game works, is crystal clear. And 3, do whatever it takes to keep your audience engaged and inspire your students into action. I also want to say, this doesn't need to be complicated. It can be very simple. You don't even need badges to gamify your experience. It's just a simple mindset shift when building your curriculum and lessons. Just keep coming back to the question, how can I make this lesson more engaging and gamified? As Dr. Delight said, in your training manual are some exercises, examples, and resources of how to gamify your course. So do check it out. Now, come on everybody. I want to take you to the cockpit and introduce you to the pilot of the eCourse Frontier, who is our Chief Technical Officer. Welcome to the bridge of the eCourse Frontier Starship, and just up here is our pilot and the other eCourse adventure guide, Mr. Andy Friest. Hey, Andy. Andy. Earth to Andy.
Oh, hey!
I just want to introduce you to all the new recruits.
Welcome, everybody. It's great to have you on board.
So, Andy, I've been telling everyone about this new world of online learning, and I've noticed some concerned recruits. They're feeling a little bit overwhelmed about which tech to use, how to use it, and whether they have enough time to set it all up. Would you be willing to share your approach to the tech side of course creation and help calm their nervous system before we arrive at the new world?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, last time that we were exploring this new world, we found an ancient set of scrolls called the Zen Tech, and they appeared to be written by a legendary tech guru named Master Zen Teach. And these have been my guiding principles ever since. So let me show you guys. Just 1 second. Let me see if I can get them. Oh, here they are.
Get clear on what you want, so what you need becomes next step. More important than know how is learn how. Be afraid not of technology, but of your fear of technology. Be creative and be simple. Take time for tech learning time, and you'll learn tech in no time. If you want to be paid like professional, then be professional. Do what you're masterful at. Work with other masters in areas you're not so good. This is how you create masterpiece. Don't be where you're not. Start here with what you've got. No need be miserable stress case. Have fun.
Pretty awesome, right? So many creators get overwhelmed or lost in the vast world of tech. But in all honesty, there's a high likelihood that you're blowing things up to be a bit bigger than they actually are. Here's the bottom line. We have so many awesome tools for building incredible learning experiences. We're talking about state-of-the-art, easy-to-use, drag-and-drop technology. And the truth is that we've never had it better. The tools that we have available to us are incredible, and they're so affordable. So instead of getting stressed about tech, get excited. This is your ticket to freedom after all. And as Master Zen Teach said, if you create time for tech learning time, you're gonna learn tech in no time. So you need to have dedicated tech learning time scheduled into your calendar, where you go through tutorials and play around with the platforms without any pressure or stress. This will make it way more fun to learn what you need to know to build your course. But before you go study every platform under the sun, there's a few things that you need to be clear on. The first thing is that you need to know what your budget is. Are you going to be working with a shoestring budget, which is just a little tiny budget? Or do you have a moderate budget? You're at this stage of your journey. So next, you need to know what features your course needs. So is gamification or perhaps having an online community area really important to the course that you're designing? Once you know the most important elements of your course, or the most important features, you can find the tech that offers those specific features in the best way and price it out based on your budget. A great approach is to give each feature that your course needs a rating from 1 through 10 so you know what the highest priorities are. The third thing is to be honest with yourself about your level of tech experience and your desire to learn the tech side of course creation. Most of the platforms that you're likely to buy have easy to follow onboarding processes that show you exactly how everything works. But if you truly don't want to deal with learning new tech, then just hire a partner. Hire someone or partner with someone who's great at it. Or you can just use the simplest tech solution that you can until you make enough sales to hire a team to help you. And the honest to goodness truth is that there is no perfect solution. None of the products that you're going to research are perfect. They all have positives and they all have negatives. And you just need to find the one that feels like a good fit for where you are now based on your price range and your needs. Trust your gut and avoid the trap of over-analyzing. Just pick your tech, get back to building your course. And as you become more experienced and make more money in the world of e-learning, you can always upgrade and improve on what you built. The biggest disservice that you can do to sabotage yourself is to not get started at all. And as Master Zen Teach said, keep it simple and have fun. So in your training manual are some great resources that will help you quickly pick your course creation technologies.
Wow, that's a really great place to start. Awesome advice. Thank you, Mr. Friest.
Oh yeah, of course, it's my pleasure. And Brad, I do want to say we're actually getting pretty close to the drop zone, so you may want to finish the tour and get everybody to the loading bay.
All right, awesome. You heard the man. But first, let's take a moment to go over what Andy just said. Number 1, you gotta know what your budget is. 2, you need to know what features are essential to your eCourse's needs. 3, be honest with yourself about your desire to learn the tech side of course creation. And 4, in the words of Master Zen teach, if you create time for tech learning time, you'll learn tech in no time. So really enjoy that learning curve. All right, everyone. I gotta say, we're very fortunate to have a true master of sales and marketing on the ship right now. So let's see if we can have a moment of his time to go learn a thing or two.
All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your training, and now I'm gonna get back to flying this ship.
Master Sales Walker, I wanted to introduce you to our new recruits.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
So, Master Sales Walker, I was wondering if you'd be willing to take a moment to share some of your wisdom around the art of sales and marketing.
Yes, of course. In fact, when entering the new world, you'll need to be aware of these energies if you wish to serve and thrive. Please, everyone, have a seat and let me explain. At the heart of all successful sales and marketing lies an invisible power called the sales force. This energy is available to all, but it must be cultivated. Harnessing the power of the sales force takes practice and patience. Once mastered, your ability to market your offering, communicate its value, and convert potential customers into sales becomes a natural experience. Now you must understand, within the sales force are 2 opposing energies, the light side and the dark. The dark side asks, how can I make more money? Whereas the light side asks, how can I create more value? Both sides are constantly creating and generating sales. However, one is in the spirit of taking, while the other is in the spirit of giving. There will come a point when you too must decide between the light and the dark. The world of online marketing has been deeply rooted in the dark side for quite some time, using shadow tactics of fear, manipulation, and scarcity to make sales. Fortunately, people are waking up and a rebellion has begun. No longer are they willing to be treated like leads or numbers. Instead, they are looking to invest in honest leaders, businesses who have a genuine mission to serve. Pay attention now, because I'm going to tell you how to harness the power of the sales force. Number 1, first, you must know your customer. Understand who they are. Know their problems, hopes, dreams, and desires. What are they looking for and why do they want it? If you are unclear about who exactly you are aiming to serve, then you will not be able to direct the sales force in their direction. Know your customer. 2, the second thing is to know your creation. What problems does it solve? What is the transformation your customer will experience by signing up? And what makes your course unique? All things in the universe have a purpose. Your course is no different. As the creator of your course, you must know its purpose inside and out. If you are unclear about your creation, what it does, how it does it, and why it does it, then how can you expect your customers to want it? Know your creation. The third element is to make the connection. How does your product connect with your potential customer? You must effectively communicate who it's for, what it does, how it works, and the value it provides. How is your creation the best solution for your customer's unique set of needs, desires, values, and personality? If you put your full heart, passion, and creative gifts into your creation, then your love for it will be contagious. You won't need to sell it, for it will sell itself, if you make the connection between your creation and your customer and communicate it with crystal clarity. Obviously, we can go so much deeper into this topic, for the sales force is infinite. These 3 principles will give you the big picture and are all you need to get started in your journey to Salesforce mastery. Now, be patient, for it takes practice to be able to harness the Salesforce successfully. I leave you with this final thought. Treat your students how you wish to be treated, and create courses that you would want to buy. This will create an energetic alignment, strength, and integrity within you, making it easier to harness the power of the Salesforce. If you use the Salesforce wisely, you will create long-term prosperity and happiness for you and your customers. Now, in your training manual are some journaling exercises and questions that will help cultivate your powers. Follow this wisdom and you will be well on your way to Salesforce mastery. That is all for today. More will be revealed when you are ready.
Thank you so much for your time and wisdom, Master Sales Walker. That was very insightful, as it always is.
May the Salesforce be with you.
And you. Such a powerful lesson on selling. This is going to be so important when it comes time to launch your course. Now come with me, recruits. We've got to get down to the loading bay for a descent into the new world. Welcome to the loading bay, and a heck of a lot cooler. Is down there on the ground when you begin your own eCourse adventure. Now, before we teleport down, I feel the need to share one more incredibly valuable lesson that can make or break the success of your course. The most important element of effective learning environment is a community gathering place, a space where all your students have a voice and opportunity to connect with you and the others on the journey with them. This could be a private Facebook group, your own private forum, or if all your students are local, a regular, more so than an in-person class. And there's many reasons for this: a lack of social accountability, infinite internet distractions fighting for their attention, and the massive amount of resistance that tends to surface when learning a new skill or going through a transformation. Overcome their fears, resistance, setbacks, and roadblocks on their journey to completing your course. But it's not just good for your students, it's great for you too. Your community gives you an opportunity to connect with your students on a much deeper, more personal level than if you're just broadcasting to them like in an email. People also want to buy from someone they like, know, and trust. Being in the trenches, supporting the students in your community creates an emotional and personal connection between them and you. This will no doubt result in more repeat sales and referrals. People also like to be a part of something that's greater than themselves. Having a community, and in time when your community begins to take on a life of its own, your presence will be less needed and vital to keep the conversations alive. So here are a few key principles for establishing a powerful online community for your students. Number 1, make it enjoyable. Create a community environment that you and others will actually want to participate in. If it's not enjoyable, people won't use it. All the features in the world won't matter if your community software is painful or annoying to use. Number 2, keep it engaging. Look at what you like and don't like about the communities you are or have been a part of in the past. Make a plan for how you'll keep the conversation sparked and what you want to talk about with your tribe around the digital campfire. Number 3, be consistent. If you're not showing up day in and day out to get those conversations lit, then who is going to do it? Once your community is thriving, then you can step away at times if you want. It'll take hard work and dedication to get your community off the ground, but the effort will be worth it in the long run. To get started, we recommend you write a code of honor that speaks to the values and shared purpose of why everyone is there and how people can get the most out of the community forum. This document would also express the rules and etiquette of your community. As people begin arriving to the space you created for them, your job is to make sure every single one of them feels safe, valued, and included. This is essential for getting their participation. And remember, it's not about the quantity of conversations that is important, it is the quality. So seek to engage in meaningful conversations with your students, and the rest will take care of itself in time. In your training manual are some exercises that will help create your ultimate community experience or improve upon your existing one. We also include some community software and platform recommendations for you. Now what do you say we head down and check out this new landscape? Andy, we're ready.
Roger that, Bradley. Have fun, and I will see you at base camp.
All right, everyone, remember, one at a time, and keep your arms and legs inside the teleporter at all times. Beam us down, Andy.
That's the last one, Captain.
All right, thanks so much, Andy.
All right, I'll park the ship, and I'll meet you over at base camp shortly.
Roger that. All right, welcome to the new world, everyone. That's Sherpa Steve back there. He's a little bit grumpy, but a really great Sherpa. Now, before we head through that spiraling vortex and begin this epic quest in eCourse creation, let's just take a quick inventory of what we learned back on the starship. These principles will be the guiding light to help you bring out your very best work in the new world of eCourse creation. Number 1, the key to engagement is creating a whole brain learning experience. 2, you create a whole brain learning experience by artfully merging your course curriculum with a unique theme. Number 3, all the tech you need is readily available. It's never been easier or more affordable to build a powerful and engaging learning experience that your students love. Number 4, at the heart of all successful sales and marketing lies an invisible power called the sales force. To harness the power of the sales force, you must know your customer, know your creation, and make that connection. Number 5, your community is the heartbeat of your course. Make it enjoyable, keep it engaging, and be consistent and show up every single day. And number 6, make your course a work of art. The more you enjoy the creative process, the more your students will enjoy the product. Now, how excited are you about the possibilities that exist for you and all the incredible courses you can create? Building an online course is like climbing in a mountain. It's completed your adventure, and you're standing on the top of that mountain feeling accomplished, confident, and strong as you breathe in the cool, fresh air of success. And you feel so proud of what you created. Your students are in love with your course and your community. You didn't do it alone. You did it with a community of people you appreciate and respect. And you all went through this epic journey together, and now your students are going through your journey together. And standing on the edge about the freedom from avoiding work. I mean, the freedom is when you find work that you love doing so much you don't need with your creativity and life experience. And how much more freedom, fun, and fulfillment would you feel in like, know, and trust? Guides who have your best interests at heart. And we've dedicated our lives to transforming the way we teach and learn in the online world. We've taken everything we've learned and know and put it into a clear path called the Great eCourse Adventure. On this journey, we will take you by the hand and guide you all the way to the top of the mountain, where you'll successfully launch an awesome eCourse that you and your students love. And no great eCourse adventure would be complete without a map. So let's take a minute to show you the adventure map so you can see what lies ahead in this epic journey in eCourse creation. All great journeys begin with a map, and the Great eCourse Adventure is no exception to the rule. So put on your pack and let's take you on a tour up the mountain so you can see what's in store for you on this epic quest in eCourse and get into the right mindset for the epic journey ahead. From there, we head up to Reflection Pond, where you'll meet your Sherpa, set your intentions for the adventure, and get clear on your motivations so that when resistance, fear, or excuses kick in, your why will be bigger than your why nots. In Mapora Meadows, you'll get clear on which of the 4 types of e-courses you want to create, as well as take personal inventory on the tools and skills you have available from your lifetime of experience. Then through the gates to Architect Forest we go, where a friendly wizard will help you get clear on an amazing course idea and pinpoint exactly who you're making it for. Then we climb up to Creator Heights, where we take that idea and draft up your course outline with lessons and modules. We also have a special ceremony with a shaman who shows you the secrets to infusing your course with creativity and personality. From there, we come to a fork in the road. You can either go through Validation Swamp, where you test your idea in the real world by pre-selling it to your potential students,
or you take the shortcut to Camp Medius, where two media geniuses will teach you the art of creating highly engaging video experiences for your course lessons. After leaving Camp Medius, we're gifted the opportunity to learn from the master of eCourse platforms at the Temples of Technosis. He'll guide you to create the best platform for your course based on your budget, needs, and level of tech experience. He makes the tech side of course creation feel like you're walking on a cloud. Then we head down the Automatora River with a new friend we meet along the way, who just happens to be a pro at email automations. With his help, your course can go on autopilot so you have more free time to enjoy the sweeter things in life. Up to write potent sales copy and marketing material that deeply resonates with your funnel. You'll then find the courage to storm to the snow-capped peak of Launch Summit, where you'll finally share your masterpiece with the world and reflect on the entire journey, understand ways to nurture your growing community, and prepare for your next big adventure. As you can see, the Great eCourse Adventure is an extraordinary journey in the art of eCourse creation. With the help of your eCourse Adventure guides and the many interesting characters you'll meet along the way, we're confident you will create the greatest eCourse you can possibly imagine and beyond. Now, we've covered a lot of ground today. We journeyed through space and time together. You've seen the map, taken the tour of the mountain and the campfire. Now, all there is one last thing to do. It's time to decide. Do you want to be a pioneer and help bring in the future of e-learning? Are you feeling the call to build your dream course that stands out, changes lives, and is a blast to create? Basically, if you are, then let's head through that vortex, let's charge up that mountain to Launch Summit, and let's make e-learning history together.
Well, seems some of y'all haven't paid your part.
Here, do you think you could cut us a good deal?
Give you a good group rate on this mountain pass.
Looks like this is the end of the road for those of you who just came for the free webinar adventure today. We really hope you had a ton of fun and that you learned a lot. We'd love to hear from you about your experience today, because we are doing a Q&A really soon. Thanks, Ranger Boss Lady. So good to see you again, and I'm sure we'll see you around the mountain. All right, let's do this! Woohoo! We all enjoyed your tour of the eCourse Frontier Starship.
We've also been really enjoying all of the questions coming through on the chat. So
Yes.
that's what we're going to actually move into at this point, is getting into any of the questions that you might have. We'll do that if there's any sort of creative blocks, technical blocks, anything like that coming through. This is the time to chat about that.
Yeah. And we can also talk about how we've incorporated certain elements of themification into our Mighty Network. And while we're here, for any of you who try our free or our free 14-day trial with the Great eCourse Adventure, use the coupon code MIGHTY when you sign up for that in any of our paid programs with the Great eCourse Adventure. You get 10% adventure. Somebody just asked, where do you find out more about that? Just go to the greatecourseadventure.com and you can check that out. Use the coupon MIGHTY. And you can check out the various offerings and more information about the course. Wow, nice job with the live chat there, Blair. That's so great. So we had a bunch of questions come through. And I think a couple of the things that we're going to talk about, some people are saying that their screens are freezing up. Definitely try the refresh button. And we're going to dig into the first questions that we had earlier.
You'll also be able to watch this in replay mode afterwards.
Like right after. So in 20 minutes from now, if you come back, and you can skip forward to the Q&A version. But basically, let's dig into some of the questions, and hopefully you can all figure out the technical stuff. So Jackie, let's go back to the topic of theme. Does the theme ever get in the way of the buyer if they can't relate to the theme? So we have a whole section on themification. It's one of our favorite things to brainstorm inside of our Great eCourse Adventure network. And so themes are a really important topic. And the thing you have to consider when choosing your theme is, does it make sense to your student? Does it make sense to you and your personality and the personality of your course? and doesn't make sense for the actual topic of a course. Like for this one, we're talking about what is the future of online education? Where is this going? So obviously we had to go aboard a starship. For the Great eCourse Adventure, the theme is a journey up a mountain to launch summit, because, we had years of experience of building courses before building the Great eCourse Adventure. And we really came to terms that building a course is kind of like climbing a mountain. There's times when you get exhausted and you want to quit. There's times when it gets really hard. There's other times where it's beautiful and fun. And there's other times that you want to just stop and enjoy the scenery. And so that's why we chose the mountain theme for the Great eCourse Adventure. Now, we have students in every type of background you can possibly imagine. We're just about to launch a course on our network called Survive the Storms. And that one is a 7-day course that essentially it's getting your emergency preparedness plan together in case there was an earthquake or tsunami or wildfire. There's all these disasters happening around the world. So the theme for that one is essentially every lesson starts with a news broadcast updating you on this storm, this superstorm that's about to hit your area. And the broadcaster brings on this emergency preparedness consultant, Chris Gilmore, and he walks you through the next steps. So day 1 is 72 hours before the storm, and then 48 hours on day 2, and then 24 hours, and then in the storm. And every day you're learning something that's super critical, like creating your emergency communications plan for your family in case you get separated during the storm and the Wi-Fi and the phones go down, which actually just happened in our area while we were producing the storm. We lost power for 10 days because of a storm.
We were prepared though.
We were prepared because we were making the course. So there's so many different theme ideas. We have one woman who's a hypnotherapist in our community, and instead of just creating another how to quit smoking course, her course is called Escape from Nicotraz. And so each of the audios is a guided hypnotherapy session, but she weaves in this Escape from Alcatraz theme, which turns it into this mind-blowing experience that really immerses the person who's trying to quit smoking into that journey.
Yeah, the way to think about themes, because the way we've expressed it through the Art of Binge-Worthy course webinar, even the Great eCourse Adventure, it's the theme I would say is quite thick.
Yeah.
It could be just the subtle way that you communicate through your copy and your scripts when you're creating the course. It could be just simple things like your color branding. So your client will ultimately want, your ultimate client and student is going to be attracted to, and then also your personality and how you're going to be able to come through. That was with Brad and Andy and their love for adventure and climbing a mountain, and so that's where that whole idea came from, and so we created that.
Yeah.
And again, for what we just watched as well, the storyline of it's the new frontier of online education. So we brainstormed, let's go to outer space and take everybody with us to the new frontier, as if we were going to a brand new planet.
Yeah.
So then that's why we created this.
One of our other courses, one of our most requested courses was a course on how to do green screen so that you can do some of the effects that we do. Right. Not that this is green screen behind us at all. But so for that one, the course is called Green Screen Magic, and you are essentially the Great Blairdini, a master magician's apprentice, and you learn all of these magic tricks to essentially turn that green piece of canvas into worlds.
Right. It's just like magic. So we used that concept and turned it into a magician teaching how to actually do that. And you become the magician's apprentice. And yeah, the story still continues through.
And one of our students did a course on kayaking, and his theme is just teaching kayaking out on the kayak. He had a couple cameras attached to his kayak, and he got underwater footage, and he really brings you out on the water with him. And the footage that he shoots for that course is absolutely stunning. He could have easily just been like, hey, here we are, here's how you paddle and stuff, but he really makes it a work of art with how he does it. So we can elaborate more on themes, but let's move on to the next question. Jennifer asks, let's move on to something about gamification, because I know there's a lot of questions about gamification. So What if I personally don't enjoy gamification? That makes it harder for me to produce it for others. And I'll just ask the second part, which is something Jackie asked. How does the concept of gamification integrate with one's brand? So I mentioned it in the comments earlier, but gamification simply getting people to take real world action. Now,
Right.
I know Jennifer, you're from Purposeful Nutrition. I mentioned in the chat, like gamification for you could be having a dessert recipe and getting people to actually make that dessert and share a picture of their finished dessert in the community. And that is gamification. You're getting people to take real world action.
Yeah.
For
Real world interaction is just another name. Why it's called gamification, it kind of throws people off because I'm not a gamer. I don't like games. I'm kind of a serious person.
Totally.
And it comes across a lot for us. I mean, just right now, us talking to you and your ability to bring up a live chat on the window right now is a form of what we call gamification.
It's creating movement. And right now you're typing into the chat, which is real world action. There's actually engagement here that's taking
And how
place.
does that feel that you can communicate with us and there's that movement? It's bringing it into motion, and which creates energy in your course and in your community.
That's right. And so another thing, like before we moved over to Mighty Networks, which we did in October of last year, we officially launched our Mighty Network. We were on WordPress, and we had about 50 plugins that made our world work. And we had our own community currency called the Bajillion, where people could buy in our mountain shop. We also had badges, which were called backpack supplies at the time. Like all of these different elements were inside of our course, and they work great for hooking people into the adventure. But what happens over time is people become kind of numb to the point systems and the badges. And what we've realized after 3 years of having our courses over on that platform is that they don't really matter. So we just we're in the midst of our second ever eCourse games. So for us, eCourse games was our way to gamify the great eCourse adventure. So it's essentially a contest with all of our great eCourse adventure students where in 10 weeks, your job is to create your most binge-worthy course. And we create some creative parameters for you and your course, and then the winners win cash. So for this one that we're doing right now, the first place person who submits the coolest course based on some judging parameters wins $2,000 cash plus coaching. And then the top 10 people who submit their courses all get paid out in cash or coaching. So that's a way that we've gamified our Mighty Network. You can also do maybe a talent show within your community. There's so many different ways based on the topic that you're teaching.
Right. And is it coming down the pipeline then? Different gamification things in Mighty Networks? Because we've chatted with them about that in the future.
We've brainstormed, and obviously right now payments is the number one priority, that we can all take payments within.
Because there's such a great team, but again, they're not 100 strong doing all that, right? So
not yet.
Not
right,
yet.
Audra? Not yet.
Yeah.
One of these days.
So it takes time for them to implement all these changes. And so, we've helped also communicate with them on the priorities. Because, there's things from an e-course perspective, like gamification, that would be great, like badges and currency. But, realistically, from just being in it for a while now, we've definitely seen that just kind of starts to get old. Like, oh, great, I've get another badge.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. It doesn't really do it. Like, oh, another badge. Well, I already have several. So it doesn't really, after a while, keep the same sort of zeal as when you can be more creative.
Another form of gamification, which is simple, you can incorporate into your newsletters and that, and Mighty Networks does this, is community spotlights. So I don't know if y'all saw the one about eCourse adventures and the work that we're doing, but that's a huge one, is like actually putting a spotlight on people inside of your community. And we do like our weekly smoke signal to our members, which basically is, we shine a spotlight on kind of the top 3 stories within our community with links to those posts. So that's another thing that you can do, which is gamification. You're including people. You're getting them to take action. You're inspiring them to dig deeper and participate more so that they can get that spotlight and that validation.
Right.
What else?
So our price is US or Canadian?
That is US, yes.
Yeah. Is everything on video except the mastermind session? That's from Patricia.
So, are you referring to the Great eCourse Adventure, is everything on video?
Maybe.
If that's the question, then we include a 200-page interactive workbook. So today you all received a training manual. That's basically our starter guide to help you wrap your mind around some gamification ideas and your theme ideas and essentially map out a little skeleton. But the Great eCourse Adventure, when you do your free trial, the first thing you do is you download our workbook. And the workbook is going to help you map out everything. It is a beautiful work of art that you can literally fill in the blanks, answer all the journaling questions, and identify your niche, choose your idea, create your theme, map out your curriculum, all the things that are required, and then choose your, write out your copy for your landing pages and all of those things. There's a lot that goes into building a course, in case y'all haven't noticed. And most courses on building courses are focused 20% on building your curriculum and 80% really, that's our purpose.
Yeah. There's a good question here from Tony McGuire. What are the downsides / upsides to a pre-recorded package piece of course content versus running it interactive / live?
It's something that's great. I mean, for you as a course creator, obviously, a part of building the courses is you don't have to physically be there every time you want to impact your students. So for us, a part of what we love about our lifestyle is our lifestyle. I play professional golf as my passion hobby, and I golf 5 days a week. For me, that was always the dream that I was motivated by to keep moving forward, and we get to be creative and make our hours. And Blair's a professional musician on the side. That's his passion thing. And so a part excited and engaged and come up with new courses. And
for example too, this webinar, for example, I get a sense that's maybe what you're talking about is, it would be nice if we could be interactive throughout the entire part, but then we wouldn't be able to tune in the fine details, get all the sound effects, the special effects, tell the story the way it is. And that's just like going to a theater production angles. And so that's what we found is it's kind of a trade-off, yes, because throughout we can definitely, it's nice to be interactive, but at the same time, what people are used to for media is kind of where we're meeting them at this point. So we're so used to watching all these really well edited movies and videos, and so our attention span is kind of evolved to that. And so that's what we've created. And again and again, it shows that having a well-produced piece that you just watched helps the retention all the way through. It helps the learning process. It keeps it moving. And then we can actually become interactive afterwards in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we are, thinking up different ways to maybe blend it a little bit better. That just takes time for us to also produce those new ideas and see. But, it's stuff like that's coming down the pipeline.
Totally. I think what people typically want is they want access to a teacher. So if that's what your community's for, we also do bi-monthly masterminds with our community. Idea, a 7-minute hot seat every single 2 weeks is pretty amazing what you can accomplish in that time. So if there's access to you in other ways, then you don't have to do the live component all the time to launch your courses. And without them, you can have access to them right now. And launches are really stressful.
It takes a lot of effort, a lot of focus, and that takes away, like we were just saying, about our lifestyle as well.
We just did the launch for the eCourse games, and it's a lot of work and stress. That's why I've gone bald around the sides here, is from that launch. And so, for us, we just prefer not to go that route. We do launches, like if we launch a new course, for example, we're going to do a launch with Survive the Storms because this is, one of the most epic courses we've ever had a hand in building.
True story.
We came on as production partners for this course and this idea, and we're so proud of it. It feels like a course that could actually go viral. And so that one we'll be doing a launch. But for the majority of our courses, once they're launched, they're launched. Now, with that being said, the eCourse games, that's only something we do a few times a year because, it's like in 10 weeks, you're going to build your course. You can participate if you want, and you have the chance to win some cash and have a lot of fun. And it's a chance for everybody to go up together. But other than that, the eCourse game started last week and that window's closed. You can still join the Great eCourse Adventure and participate and go through it at your own rate.
We come through loud and clear. We've also pre-recorded, or we're recording it from our end as well. So if there is interruptions from our spaceship down to our recorded. So we'll look into that, and you can watch this again if you need to pick up where you left off. So when it comes to the Great eCourse Adventure, we go over so much of this stuff and help you create a course from start to finish. Everything from just getting really clear to, what you actually are doing. Is that they exist? Do you know that they exist? Those, and then all the way through the tech, and that's where we built the add-on with green screen magic. If you want to use it, goes through a lot of that sort of stuff. And so we do have that free trial to even just go in, check it. All creators are at the same level, and definitely check that out. It's super valuable. And a few more. I'm just going.
And if anything, a part of what we do in our eCourse Adventures Mighty Network, so you can go to our eCourse Adventures Mighty Network. It's free conversations. You don't have to pay anything. We actually have the Masterclass, the Art of Binge-Worthy courses, broken down into a mini course. So each little element of our tour today is a single lesson. So you can see that, how we set up courses inside of Mighty Networks. I really encourage you all to do the 14-day free trial with the Great eCourse Adventure, because you're going to see how we set up courses and how we gamify our Mighty Network, which is what you all need to do anyways. And a part of the gamification here page and see how we onboard you. And when you join the Great eCourse Adventure, really critical if you want people to finish your course or participate in your Mighty Networks and doing exceptionally well, is getting you started and helping you get acquainted, that even if you've never been on any Mighty Network and this whole technology is new to you, that we show you how to actually navigate Mighty Networks in a good way so that you don't get lost, and so you know how to find everything and participate in conversations. I think for all of you building courses out there on Mighty Networks, you're going to learn so much that you can apply to your own. And it's free. And if you want, use the coupon code MIGHTY in case you decide to stick around and keep your membership.
Yeah, one of the best parts of what Mighty Networks has offered us is just really expanding our community and our ability to communicate with them efficiently, effectively. And that's one of the real benefits that our students time and time again communicate back to us, that they come for the course, but they stay for the community. And that has so much value when we're building our Mighty Network. That really is, the true value to our students / clients. And for all of you as course creators, there's a real value to coming on board into a community of other course creators to share what you're up to, getting some really valuable feedback from other people in your industry and other people who aren't in your industry.
Yeah.
To give, just get new, fresh perspectives.
Totally.
There's going to be a lot of creatives who are really good at production and others that aren't so good at production, and you'll be able to jam on things, even find people in your city or even neighborhood that might even be in the network and wanting to create and co-create together, because we highly recommend co-creating. It makes things a lot more fun. You're not by yourself, stuck for the hours.
Yeah.
We have a lot more fun doing this together than if we were trying to create something apart.
True story.
I don't think we'd even be this far if we were just trying to do things separately.
No. We used to. We definitely weren't nearly as successful as entrepreneurs until we paired up and said, hey, let's do this thing together. I just want to say, we haven't mentioned it, we're actually building a course called Going Mighty, which essentially is how to turn your Mighty Network into a mighty party. So obviously the theme is a party. just like a little sneak peek at what's coming, like we're literally throwing a huge party and inviting all of our favorite people. So if you're in the Salt Spring Island, British Columbia area on February 15th, specifically talking to you, Audra, you should get on a plane on the 14th and come up for this. Then come to the party and be a part of the course. We're so pumped. We've been working on this for a bunch of months. It's literally going to show you everything you need to know about using Mighty Networks in the best way you possibly can so that you can build huge communities.
We considered using a green screen to create that course.
It's boring.
And we're just like, oh man, that would be such a headache with all the extra layers and everything. So we're just going to throw an actual party, bring an actual DJ, have our friends, and then it's going to be fun. You know, it'll be like a movie set where we'll be like, okay, everybody, now pretend you're dancing to music. So we're gonna have fun with that. That should be coming down in the next
March 15th,
yeah,
ish, somewhere around there. We'll have that course live and available in the eCourse Adventures network, and it's gonna be free.
Yeah, so
it's a free course.
The best Mighty network possible.
Yeah.
That was quite the journey.
We're the bottom of the hour. It's 12:30. If more questions come up for any of you watching this in the future or now, come over to the eCourse Adventures Mighty Network. Let us know how this was for you. Let us know how we can improve. And let's brainstorm some ideas, come up with a theme, some gamification elements, and hopefully we see you around the campfire in the great eCourse Adventure. Thank you, Audra. Thank you, Mighty Networks, for hosting today. We definitely want to do a lot more of these so that we can support all of you out there.
Cool. Yeah, so signing off from here. Take care, everybody. Bye.